It's Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. It's Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. It's Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor.
Well, there was a lot going on the show today, and this one ended up on the cutting room floor, but I wanted to run it past you.
Please, I'm ready to be run past.
Grandma groped Goofy, character allegedly assaulted by elderly woman at Walt Disney World.
I need to hear more.
So Goofy's there. The family has gathered.
Collar on or off? Asking for trouble?
Goofy doesn't wear a collar. He wears human clothes.
No.
Yeah, Pluto. You're thinking of Pluto.
I'm thinking of Pluto.
Pluto's a naked dog.
So Goofy is there. He wears a waistcoat and pants and things.
Yeah, he's got the pants and the goofiness.
Okay. What happened?
He drives a car as well, which is odd. And then Pluto is running around bare-ass naked.
On all fours?
On all fours. Or maybe that's Goofy on the weekend as well. Anyway, a family of four have gone up to Goofy. Three of the family members posed on his right, while the grandma stood on his left side. He put her arm around him. The victim, who was played by a 32-year-old man inside the suit, said...
Why is a 32-year-old man working at Disney inside the suit?
It's a living.
Isn't that a living for like a 19-year-old theatre student or something?
It's a living. Sidebar, have you ever gone inside a mascot? Have you ever...
Apparently they don't like it from what I'm reading here.
No, sidebar, have you ever been dressed up in a mascot?
No, you have.
I've done a few times.
You did it at the Roosters, remember?
I did the Roosters.
Does it smell inside?
Yeah, it does, but there is something freeing about it. One time, many years ago, this is when I used to partake in a bit of Hey-Man. I was working at a radio station and I showed up at an event at the shopping centre, but I just happenstance was walking past there. And some friends of mine had been smoking a little bit of weed beforehand.
Were you working on the radio?
I was working on the radio, but that was my day off. And one of the salespeople said, Lenny Electric, the person that plays Lenny Electric hasn't showed up.
What's Lenny Electric?
Lenny Electric was the mascot for Illawarra Electricity, which
and
was...
what form was it?
It was a lion. Lenny Electric. He was a
lion.
A lion.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, Lenny Electric.
An electrical lion?
Yeah, an electrical lion. So they said, do you mind putting the suit on?
Well, you have no pride. Boom, boom.
So I put the suit on and I was as stoned as 10 men. And it was quite liberating because you could do whatever you want.
But this is the opposite. This is where people were doing things to the mascot.
Yeah, so what
happened?
Back to this story. So she's placed her right hand on his butt, squeezed her hand 3 times, and said...
Lenny Electric dreamed of it.
Said, woohoo. Anyway... Goofy stopped the interaction with the family and was asking them to leave, the report said. The photographer...
How embarrassing for the kids when grandma's gone the grope.
The photographer overheard the conversation among the family afterward. What did you do? The father asked the grandma. And grandma said, I didn't do anything. Goofy wants us to leave now. The victim told law enforcement the grandma squeezed his butt over his costume. He wanted to prosecute her for battery.
Well, that's full on.
Learn about that, poor old Goofy.
But I guess it's fair enough. We don't allow them to touch, in the years gone by, women have been subjected to this.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I go to a few functions and stuff, and women of a certain age will feel free to have a bit of a, when you're getting a photo, they'll touch your butt. And
really?
stuff.
Really?
And I remember with Taylor Swift, with that DJ that put hands on her, I think for that era, that was accepted. Do you know what I mean? That was guys of that era thought, oh yeah, young lady, I can go the full Rolf Harris on her or something like that. But times have shifted for men. But do you think women are going through this now? Elderly women, or women in the middle-aged women are now a target of this. That it's not acceptable to do this.
Well, it's just not. It's never been acceptable.
No, but you know what I mean?
People would have thought it's funny. Randy old granny is kind of a funny old trope.
Yeah.
But absolutely, no one has the right to do that to anybody. And now we're drawing a line in the sand with it. A lion in the sand. What would Lenny think?
Lenny Electric. I think he's been retired, old Lenny Electric.
Oh, I think he was retired that day, don't you?
My dope smoking days.
But imagine the family being shunted out of Disney because grandma went the grope on Goofy. I'll see you in court. You You can leave your waistcoat on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Something that we didn't discuss and it ended up on our cutting room floor, and I think it's worthy of not being on our cutting room floor. I think it should be in the greater world of broadcasting, is things that are embarrassing for no reason.
I came across this great list, and the reason why they're great is because they're so small. It's not like, oh, I whooped my dacks and it's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing.
These are really small embarrassments. Do you want some examples?
Yes, please.
Walking towards someone that you're meeting up with. So you've agreed to meet them, but you see them from a distance.
Yeah. Because
Horrifying.
you wave from a distance.
Well, you don't. I don't think you do. Or you smile and just go, yeah, yeah. And then you have to walk that closely to each other.
I remember one house I was living in, I was doing a wee in the morning, just in my toilet facility.
My toilet. Well, aren't you a hero? You want applause for that?
Let me finish. And there's a window, and so it's at head height. I'm just looking out into my neighbour's garden. My neighbour's doing some gardening. At that moment, he looked up and we made eye contact.
Oh, look, that's a big embarrassment.
And then we just, all he could see was my head, hot at the, at the pane. And then he's in the garden.
There's the pane.
He's in the garden on his haunches doing some weeding, and we made eye contact. And I always thought, do you know when someone's looking at you and you get a sense that someone's looking at you? Maybe that's what I thought had happened.
Would he have intuited what you were doing? Because it is a bathroom.
Yeah, it's obvious that I'm doing a wee.
Well, then that's a big embarrassment. That's not a small one.
Okay.
Here's some other small ones. Exiting anywhere from the middle of a row.
Oh, yeah. Terrible.
Do you give them bum or do you give them front?
I think front's better than bum.
No, I give them bum.
No.
Otherwise, you have to look at them as they look at your front bits.
Because you lean over and you go, hey, how you doing?
Oh, as they look at your groin.
No.
I'd rather give them bum so I can't see what they're looking at.
Because I'll tell you why the front is better than the bum.
Is this your neighbour again?
No, because the front, you're making eye contact.
I want to avoid.
So they're not looking at your bits.
I want to avoid eye contact. I don't want to know what they're thinking or looking at.
What about if you're in a sauna, a multi-leveled sauna?
I never would go into a multi-leveled sauna. How about this one?
You've been over to Switzerland and
These
Sweden.
are things that are embarrassing for no reason. Buying toilet paper.
I have no problem with buying toilet paper. Since the COVID pandemic, I'm happy to buy
It's about people looking at you knowing you do a poo.
But in the old days, I used to be very ashamed of buying toilet paper. And then when the pandemic, everyone went nuts they went batshit crazy for toilet paper. And then my local petrol station, they always had toilet paper. And I said, you guys got toilet paper. And they had the big 30-pack of Quilton Loves Your Bum.
And how'd you get that home on your bike?
I just strap it onto the back of my bike. That's how proud I was. I put it on the back of my bike.
Well, he's a nervous rider.
Like I'm riding around the Philippines. Like I'm riding around the Philippines with it strapped on the back. And I don't care anymore. In fact, I don't care so much that when I go in there, I get
Are
my
you shouting now?
I get my fuel and I say to Vicky behind the counter, I say, hey, it's toilet paper day. It's toilet paper day.
If you've been drinking. How about this one? When anyone sings happy birthday to you or a big group sing happy birthday.
I like that, yeah.
You do. You love people making a fuss. You love it. You love a fuss.
No, I don't like a fuss.
You love it.
No, I don't like it.
You love a fuss.
I don't like it.
How about this one? The last few seconds of a Zoom call when everyone's trying to hang up.
Oh, and you're seeing the finger and then, because their finger's going up to the screen.
They're not giving you the finger.
No, unless I'm having a Zoom chat with you. But you're trying to get the X to shut the screen. And then,
only when she's over.
And they're sitting there. And they're looking at you with that look.
And everyone's clocked out, so their faces have dropped. And it's just that awkward moment.
The next thing is bad is when you say bye to someone and then you walk off in the same direction.
Yeah.
It happens at airports all the time.
Yeah.
Because you're getting off the plane, you're, okay, I'll see ya. And then all of a sudden you're walking.
Well, where else are they going to walk? That's a bad example because you have no option but to walk together.
Well, I remember Jacinta Franklin. now these days. When we were on the dancing show together, we'd catch the plane home and we'd say goodbye at the Aero Bridge. And then I'd say, oh, this is funny, isn't it? You know, we were walking along together. And she'd go, yeah, yeah. And then I'd say, well, I'll go and get some fisherman's friends for the shop. So give her time to
So you
bugger
could
off.
fix your breath for the pash.
And then we kept running into each other's road. I said, come on, what's going on?
You know why?
I've given this time.
It's because she was being papped because she was going out with Buddy Franklin. And did you think, oh, yeah, if I hang around there, I can goon into the camera?
In what world would I want that? Who wants that? You know so little of me that you think that I'd like.
Well, you're the guy who says, I love toilet paper. I didn't know that about you.
Because there was a worldwide pandemic. You remember that? And you couldn't get toilet paper.
But now you can.
Yeah, you can, but I've still got the memories of that. It's like you see old guys that were alive in the last pandemic clapping out the candles on a cake because they don't blow on the cake.
The last one.
The last 100 years ago.
Yeah, who were those guys? When are you seeing them?
There's still old blokes. Well, they're probably dead now, but there were people in the 80s and 90s that would clap out a cake with their hands because they lived through the great pandemic.
When did you ever come across someone in the flesh who was in that former pandemic?
I haven't come across anyone that lived through the former pandemic, but I'm saying to you
that old habits die hard.
The old habits die hard, and you're appreciative of not blowing on a cake because you don't want to spread death.
It is funny. We'd never do that now, and we'd never sneeze into our hands now.
No, I sneeze in the elbow.
Yeah.
I do that. And so in, say, 50, 60 years from now, the kids are going to go,
No, they will never, ever sneeze into their hands. We will never go back to that.
They will sneeze into their hands.
No, they won't.
Yeah, they will.
No, they won't.
Yeah, they will.
No, they won't. I'm going to keep saying this for 50, 60 years.
I'm starting to see why this ended up on the cutting room floor.
Let's go home.
It's the cutting room floor. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Something that ended up on the sweepings of our cutting room floor is this discussion, and I think it's very relevant, that poor man that was killed on the British Airways flight.
Wow.
In turbulence.
A flight to Singapore. Lots of Australians were on that flight too. But, yeah, he had a heart attack during the turbulence. People were injured. I've seen footage of people's faces all smashed up.
Yeah.
When the plane dropped, they all just hit the ceiling, the ones that didn't have seatbelts on, and smashed through all the cupboards and things up above their heads. People were somersaulting down the aisle and looking at the debris. There was just stuff everywhere.
They say flight is safe, and largely it is safe. But in the old days, Wilbur and Orville Wright, when they flew from Kitty Hawk all those years ago, all they hoped for was to get the plane in the air and land safely. And really that still exists to this day. But a lot of people get on a plane and go, well, I want to watch the latest Fast and the Furious franchise. Why can't I watch it? Why is my screen not working? I'd rather the screen not working than the plane not working.
Yeah, well, and it's very unusual, apparently, that turbulence like this, that a plane finds itself in the midst of it. That's very unusual. In light of that story, I saw this footage of a woman on a Frontier Airlines flight. Now, the background to this story is, you know when you get that seat and it's got that extra leg room, it's like the emergency bunk of seats.
Yeah, over the wing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they say they have to do the speech. If you sit here, are you prepared to,
Open the hatch.
help people and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, open the hatch. You've got to be compass enough to open the hatch, push it out, and then guide your passengers out.
Kick around all the beer bottles the beer cans that you've left there and see if you're compass enough, as you say.
I'm straight into that seat.
You'd love that. You would be a person who would help people. Well, this woman was sitting there and she was overheard by a couple of people saying that, quote, I'm not going to save anybody. If something happens, I'm going to save myself first. So when the flight attendant came up to say, are you prepared to blah, 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 she said yes. And the other people said, I don't think so. And it became this big fight.
Really?
We got witnesses. We all agree.
So the woman in question, of course, phones her attorney People on the flight were pleading with her to get off the plane before the police officers arrived because they wanted to take off.
Because she lied about her so-called heroic capabilities.
Well, she'd made some jokes. See, don't
she made a
joke.
joke.
She made a joke saying, I'm only going to help myself.
Yeah,
And
right.
so when the flight attendant came and said, are you prepared? They said, no, she's not going to.
Why does
Just
it sound
all
like-
shut your pie holes
Why
and
does
then
it-
you can take off.
Why does it sound like we've walked onto the set of Good Times?
Oh, Florida.
JJ, what are you doing down there, boy?
And so the police were called. The other passengers are going, come on.
Yeah.
And she got handcuffed
Goodness.
and escorted off.
So she was making a joke and the other passengers...
Said, hey, I don't trust her to save me.
Oh,
she should
come
not be in that seat. And she said, I didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
And then the next minute, she's phoning her attorney and police are called.
Oh, goodness
You know,
me.
travel's hard enough without all this.
It is hard.
Because everyone knows when they say to you, if you're in that seat, you're going to help people, you go, yes.
Yeah.
Don't make a joke.
Not going all Mark Wahlberg on this, but...
What does that mean?
Remember when September 11 and he said that if he was on that plane, he would have averted the tragedy?
What are you going to say here?
I'm not going Mark Wahlberg on this, but what happens in history, if we don't learn from history, then we're doomed to just be extinct. And sometimes I wonder if that's actually indeed happening, but not for me. I like to think I look to history and I learn from it.
What's the historical relevance here?
When I get on the plane, I'm always very mindful of what's going on. Who's this guy? What's that guy doing? What's she going to do?
Why are those wires coming out of that backpack?
Exactly. All those things. I'm always just looking and I am always in a state of
No.
vigilance when I'm on
I've
a plane.
flown with you. You have 18 beers before, during, and after. There's no vigilance, and your mouth is open and you're snoring.
I
And
also-
that's a flight to Melbourne from Sydney.
I also see how much beer is in the beer cart to see if it can sustain me during the flight.
I worked with a cameraman who said that he's flown enough that he knows statistically knows that things can happen.
Things can happen.
And he's the guy when they say count the number of seats you are from the front
Yeah.
or the back of your nearest exit. He's flown so much, but he will turn around and see how many seats there are.
that's-
He follows it all to
That's-
a T.
And did you see Sully? That's exactly what happened with Sully. You know-
Sandra,
No.
our newsreader,
No. Sully, as in Captain
Sullenberg.
Charles Sullenberger, when he put the plane down in the Hudson River. And then if you watch that movie, people were trying to point at the insurance companies, funnily enough, insurance companies saying, oh, well, you know, you could have landed that plane at Teterboro or any of the other airports around, but instead you chose to put it in the Hudson. And they said, but what about the human factor? They didn't factor in the human factor, the decision making. And when that bird strike hit that plane, it was they were only like 800 feet off the ground. There's no procedure for that. Both engines gone. Total engine failure. That man reacted, and he stood up to the plate, and he did it. And any other cliches I can think of.
And what are you saying? That you'd be that guy?
I would be. I'd like to think I wouldn't just sit there and.
Hi, Captain. Ordered a special meal.
Excuse me, Sully. I know this isn't a long flight,
But I did order a special meal.
but is there a chance I can get another beer?
Anyway.
Hey, everybody, here is some more Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. Hey, hey.
This is Cutting Room Floor, and something we missed out on the Cutting Room Floor today.
Well, something we didn't get around to talking about. And I feel uncomfortable about this because I take incredible pleasure in a story of someone's breakup, supposed breakup.
Do you?
Does that make me a mean person?
I think it does.
Even if it's about J-Lo and Ben Affleck?
I was happy for them to be together.
Oh, I was never happy for them to be together.
Why?
We don't know officially that they've split. We'll get to that in a minute. When they got back together, they were so full of themselves. It was these photo shoots with her in a swimming costume and him. Then I'm 50 and I look incredible. And he was just gushing and loving. I thought, if you want to fall in love again, great. But I don't need to see it.
Do it on your own time.
Do it on your own time. I don't need to see it. And all these people who said, oh, it gives me faith in the world and I love it. I thought, I'm not one of those people. I am predicting its demise. And that demise is almost happening, let me tell you. I just had to have a little burp there because the universe is punishing me for being mean.
I thought you were being sage.
No, burping. Right. This is a quote, and I don't know how accurate this is, but Ben Affleck has, quote, come to his senses about his failing marriage to the singer and knows they're headed for divorce. An insider has claimed if there was a way to divorce on grounds of temporary insanity, he would. He feels like the last 2 years have been a fever dream. He's come to his senses and understands there's no way this is going to work. That's all speculation.
Yeah.
But here's what people are basing that on, apart from the fact he's got a constantly cranky face, is that she appeared solo at the Met Gala just a few months ago, or earlier this month, despite serving as one of the event's co-chairs. People realised they hadn't been photographed together in more than a month. He has been photographed without his ring on. And these are two people who know what imagery means. They have played the imagery game big time. They know when they are putting stuff out and out in public and all of that, they know very well what people are going to read into it. So he's taken off his wedding ring. So I read somewhere also, pure speculation, but it looks like she's been married 158 times, that he has issues with the fact she finds it very hard to be satisfied. She's in love with love.
Yeah.
And she finds it very hard to go, hey, let's just settle down and do life now.
Yeah, she's never satisfied. She's not going to
Jenny
go...
from the block, maybe you should go back to being Jenny from the block and be grateful for and just shut your pie hole.
Well, that's never going to happen.
Isn't it, Brendan? Your insight into them, it's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen. She's not going to marry a normal guy. She's not going to marry...
No, but can she marry Ben Affleck and then be normal?
No, she's J-Lo.
No, she's J-Lo. The call goes out.
That's why, like super people, like, amazing individuals. Like, I'm just trying to think who in the movie world... Like DiCaprio. He's got too much fruit on the tree.
Well, but what about Hugh Jackman? He and Deb lasted for years and years and years.
Yeah, and I'm not saying...
What about Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward?
Yeah.
As if they didn't have options along the way.
He said, why would I go for hamburger
when I've got steak at home?
And then Charlie Sheen said, sometimes it's good to have a bit of hamburger.
Some fresh buns.
That's...
But I feel bad because I take delight in the fact it's all going pear-shaped. And that's a terrible thing to confess, and I'm sorry.
I wouldn't take delight in that. I don't take delight in anyone's demise.
Oh, that's not true.
I do not.
That's not true.
Okay, give me an example.
Well, all right, I will.
Okay.
You read a review in the paper this morning of the new Mad Max film.
Yes, okay.
You said, I love that this has got a terrible review.
You know what? I would never criticise a movie I haven't seen, but from the get-go, from just the trailer alone of Mad Max Furiosa, I thought you have disrespected the franchise.
Why?
Because the movie, Mad Max originally was about the car. It was about the cars. It was about the bikes. It was about the snappy catchphrases. The last of the V8 sucks nitro. I'll see you on the road, Skag, like we saw the Night Raider. That's what it was about. And
isn't it allowed to morph?
But I would quietly fume because I saw a lot of articles about it.
Standing ovation at Cannes.
Oh, yeah. And
I would put it to you that, you can show your school movie and you get a standing ovation.
Bunch of guys in dresses all going, they're just happy to be out.
A bunch of guys in dresses.
That's what you get at Cannes. Anyway, I and I'm not telling you, I love George Miller. I love Chris Hemsworth. I think these people are all fantastic. I love that it was made in Australia. I love all of that. Love, 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 love. But it disrespected the franchise.
Is it not allowed to morph?
And I haven't said this. Well, it hasn't morphed. It's a prequel to Mad Max 5 or 4.
See, that's the problem there.
So it's a prequel to Mad Max 4. So this is Mad Max 5, but it's prequel to Mad Max to Fury Road, which I thought was just on the cusp of great. It was just on the cusp. I got it. I thought, yeah, okay, that's what, it's evolved from Mad Max 3. This is sandwiched in between 3 and 5.
And so
this is 4.
Yeah, your maths is great.
And what bugs me about the whole Mad Max franchise? If Mel Gibson hadn't have gone batshit crazy,
etc.
He could be quite easily been throughout this whole franchise and it would be fantastic. But he mucked around, he effed around and found out, and now he's been ostracised from the Hollywood community, so he can't come back. So what they're trying to do is, it's a money-making exercise. People are going to go and see this.
He couldn't have been in this one because it's a prequel.
No,
he
would have existed.
Benjamin Button.
No, he would have more existed in this one because Mad Max 3...
But he'd have to be younger.
No, because Mad Max 3, Auntie Entity, Tina Turner, little kids, we don't need another hero. Okay. Mad Max 3 Max goes back out into the wasteland. Mad Max 5 What was the English guy
He
that played?
can't be 80.
No, Mad Max 5. What was his name? The old mate, the English actor.
Was it Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy. He played Mel Gibson's character. So Mel could have easily sandwiched in between the two. And you know what? I knew this movie was in trouble when they had the big gala premiere in Sydney and they focused on the least of the car. They focused on those little pasty-faced desert kids, but not the cars. The cars are the stars of that movie.
The cars didn't get to walk the red carpet.
The XP GT two-door coupe was just sitting in the background, and that just burns me up.
So for the guy who says you've never want to wish ill on anyone, you took great delight in that terrible review this morning.
What I did when I read this, it just said Road to Nowhere, high octane prequel hits the skids thanks to a plodding plot and bad acting.
And you cheered this morning.
I know. Well, look, I don't.
So don't make me feel bad for
I'm not
being the
cheering.
only
I'm not
person who
cheering
does
because I love
this.
Hemsey. I know. I think he's great. I think he's all day. But
I think he's all day.
But it's like Rambo 5. Okay, he disrespected the franchise. Do you know what I'm talking about? John J. Rambo in Rambo 5.
Oh, please don't. Please
He
don't.
should not have walked into that Mexican gang's enclave. John J. Rambo is smarter than that.
Okay. You know they're not real people, Brendan.
I know that. I know. Okay, well, you just stick to the
real people
the movies
of
that
Hollywood.
you watch. You stick to the real relationship of J-Lo and Ben Affleck, and I'll stick to my ranting about movies.
Well, I think we've done our dash here.
I think we have.
Hey everybody, it's time for Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor.
Time for cutting room floor. I dropped the G on purpose.
Did you?
Yeah.
Have you dropped a G?
That's
Don't
it.
drop an E.
You know, see me go full McKenny in a park.
No, and also, I don't like, abbreviations. I don't like lazy English.
So you like to call it by its true name, GHB, grievous bodily harm. Actually, GBH?
No, I meant I don't want you to say cutting. It's cutting room
Well,
floor.
that's what happens on the cutting room floor, my friend. You can do whatever you
Brendan,
want.
You're a broadcaster.
Yes.
Yes. Never
Yes.
forget it. Let me ask you about this. This footage has gone viral. It is of a woman running a marathon. She's probably what? I've shown you the pictures there. She's probably 50. I've seen the footage of it. She's probably 50 metres from the finish line.
Yep.
And her husband runs out onto the track with her little kids and wants her to, I think there's 3 little kids, wants her to carry them or run with them across the finish line. She deviates and runs around him because also he's holding up other people who are also trying to run. And in the footage, you can see him going, hey, come on, guys, these are your kids. Take them across the finish line with you, because there's a trope at the moment where people run across the finish line of some big race with their kids. But normally the ones I've seen, the kid gets handed to the person, to the dad or whatever, right at the end of the race. You've already clocked your time.
Yep.
You know where you're going to be doing it. Here, this is 50 metres out, and those kids are too small to run on their own. So her time would be way out.
She would ruin her time. I'm just looking at the time lapse. So the man comes at a minute 40 and 49, and then at a minute 40 and 52, she skirts around the kids. So she finishes up at a minute 40 and 56.
Tell me what that means.
Well, it means that I don't think that he impeded her in any way. But
if she'd stopped to run with her kids or
gathered
carry,
little Timmy and Tommy
Yeah.
and said, come on, let's go. But what a douchebag.
But what a
this guy
douchebag.
is.
And the fact at the end of it, he's going, come on, you've ignored your kids. People are outraged, are saying
Yep.
this is such an entitled
Is-
act from a man, as if mummy's hobby and mum's a mum first.
Yep. Is he Spanish? I'm detecting a Spanish
Why?
vibe.
Why would you think
Because
that?
it's in Spanish.
Well, she might have travelled to Spain for this race.
No, I'm feeling Spanish because it's a little bit of a sexist regime over in Spain.
Well, but people all over the place, in that country included, it's had 9 million views on TikTok.
Well,
and people are saying he's a douchebag.
He is a giant.
And people are
douchebag.
saying this sort of reveals a lot of how women are seen in their marriages. He goes, that's nice for you to have that little hobby, but you're a mum first.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a serious runner. And
Yes,
I
of course
presume
she
at
is.
that time, 1 minute and 40 and 56, that's a respectable time. That's under the 2 hours. So I don't know how long the marathon was for.
But she didn't just get out of a car at the top of the hill.
Yeah, she's doing it. She's having a fair crack there.
It's like, why don't I just step out and hand someone an anvil? and say, do the last 50 metres with this because this is my emotional support anvil. Take it across the line.
Why don't you do this for the kids? The Anvil Challenge, Mum. Come on. You know, you didn't see this in Cliff Young's day. Actually, if his kid ran out when he was crossing the line,
They were still on the pension.
They'd be about 50. There's Cliffy Young.
His kids are too old to run.
There's Cliffy Young.
Remember when he got married on the stage at Westfield? He got married to a much younger woman who was
did?
religious, Mary.
Oh.
Cliff, for those that don't know, was a potato farmer.
Yeah.
And he took up marathon running, and he used to do this really slow shuffle. He used to run in gumboots and things.
And he ran from Sydney to Melbourne.
And he became a giant pop culture hero.
Yeah, yeah.
He was on the Midday Show, all that stuff. And then he was sponsored by Westfield, I think, who arranged for him to be married to the much younger Mary on stage at Westfield.
Didn't Westfield get him to run around to all their shops, like all around the country? Poor old Cliff.
Yeah. Well,
Then he got wheeled out on stage. And people would sort of look slack-jawed at him. Who is this guy in gumboots?
no, that marriage didn't last. It might surprise you. to
No,
hear.
what happened there?
Shall I Google it?
Yeah,
you talk to the people while I Google.
No, well, Cliff, this is my time to shine.
I'm going to Google Cliff Young marriage. If I Google Cliff Richard marriage by mistake, nothing's going to come up. Okay, here we go. You ready? Cliff Young marry. Cliff had never married, but after the 1983 race, at 62 years of age, he's my age. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. He wasn't an elderly man. He was 62.
I thought he was about at least 75.
Wow. He married a 23-year-old. Mary
at
Howell.
62.
Yeah, what happened to Cliff's wife?
62 just doesn't go into 23.
The race sponsor, Westfield, hosted the wedding for the entertainment of shoppers.
Yeah.
They divorced 5 years later in the aisle 3 with the Red Sport
62.
special.
How old? Be would be past. He would be long gone by now.
I think so. How much money did Cliff Young win? Do you want to see for his
Yeah,
prize
let's have a look at
money?
the Google.
He got a cheque for $10,000.
Oh, well, that was back in 1983. That was good money.
That's true. He told the organisers he wasn't aware there was a prize for winning.
Yeah.
So anyway, he seems like he was a very inspirational man.
Good man.
Was Cliff Young vegetarian is the question here. He was a vegetarian from birth until death.
Okay.
He lived in his family home with his mother and his brother, Sid. He was single until after the race he met the girl of his dreams.
Well, that 23-year-old, the girl of everyone's dreams.
And whose dream isn't it to marry on the centre stage at Westfield? 62. That's just knocked the wind out of my sails.
I think we should get you some gumboots. And you look like Miss Tweedy from Chicken Run.
Chickens go in, pies come out. Oh, this has ended badly.
I think it's ended
I'm off to
great.
get some injectables.